Hi, this is Marc Jacobs. April Rodriguez has asked me to talk about my play, The Iago Syndrome, which I'm directing now at Cal State East Bay. It opens November 13th. The play is really about the effects of war on the home front, which is an old story. It's not relegated to just the war in Afghanistan or Iraq. It's been happening since the Trojan War, when Odysseus came home and slew 100 men who were trying to be next in line to take his place with his wife. So it's not for or against the war, but it's studying the awful effects that war can have on the wives who are waiting at home. And it's certainly not a condemnation of the Army. These people are going in, including the wives, with the best intentions, with patriotic intentions, with serving their country, all of the right motives. But because of, one, the things that the men are trained to do, that they have to do in order to fight war, and the things that they see over there, they can often come back damaged. This is what we know as post-traumatic stress disorder. And it's been a lot in the news lately. My original intention for the play was to write something very different about the relationship between Iago and Emilia in the play Othello, in Shakespeare's Othello, because Iago sets Othello up to murder his wife, Desdemona, and then after his own wife, Emilia, has spilled the plot, he ends up killing her, and we are never really quite sure why, because he has nothing to gain. And I thought, well, what if he was planning that all along and using Othello and Desdemona as a sort of puppet couple to act out this murder that he couldn't quite bring himself to consciously think of. Then in August 2002, these news stories came out from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, about 4 soldiers who had come back from Afghanistan. They were 3 of them were part of the Delta Force unit. And within a 5-week period, all 4 soldiers had murdered their wives. And at first the Army said it was coincidence. They then were looking into that it might have been caused by a malaria serum that the soldiers had been given, which seemed to be causing some psychotic effects. But ultimately, what they had to admit was that it was post-traumatic stress disorder. At that time, the Army was not set up in a good way to deal with that kind of psychological stress from its soldiers. In fact, it discouraged its soldiers from seeking psychological help because it would go on their record and get in the way of them getting promotions. So when a soldier needed help the most, the whole system was set up against them getting it. Consequently, it broke out so that what in other circumstances could have been a normal domestic argument suddenly turned lethal, because that's how the soldiers were trained to react. Often they thought that they were back in warfare in the middle of these fights. So that's what the Iago Syndrome is about. It weaves together 2 worlds that are very different, the world of Othello and the world of Fort Bragg in 2002. I hope you'll come see it. We've got a fantastic cast, all very dedicated and doing great work. And it's a very exciting play. It's not for children. It has adult content in it.